very much.
Thanks.
Waihoro, Spreydon-Cashmere Community Board.
Kia ora tātou. Hello everybody. That's you.
Oh, right. Right, mother of all cleanups that happened along the Pauhau Heathcote River was a big event. It's probably been reported on before, but we always, our board, has it not been? No. Yeah, it should be reported on by all the boards that this goes through, the Heathcote River. But, you know, there's a huge effort into that every year. And, of course, Helene Mountainer from our board was instrumental in setting up this, as well as the river network. And thanks to City Care as well for collecting all the rubbish that gets brought in. As tonnes and tonnes worth each time.
And we have a Part A. We have two Part A's. The 40k an hour variable speed zone extension down Hoonhay Road. And as I have mentioned before, we are proposing, the board has had another thought about closing the loop on the 40k an hour, and behind these two schools that are involved in the Part A, and talking about Maryhill Road. And so while we're going to be putting this in the Part A, we'd like the council to understand that we may be closing the loop and asking for a 40k extension on another road as well. And the second one is for the lease on the sign of the Tākei at long last. A lease agreement, provided it is passed by the council, will be signed on the sign of the Tākei, which means it will be open to the community again after such a very long period of being closed. And lastly, not in the pictures, but also we'd like to address the issue of Barrington Mall. Residents came to us many years ago proposing that the right-hand turn out of Barrington onto Barrington Street be abolished and that it be left-hand turn only. We have at long last got agreement with Barrington Mall and the shops within, but we are still waiting now for a resource consent. It looks as though the delay is going to go beyond June and July, which was expected, and we have to say that the community residents and the Spreydon Neighbourhood Network specifically will become quite agitated if we don't get that resource consent through soon. And this is just a classic story led by Phil Clearwater, who in response to residents who were shaded by these poplar trees, who have outgrown their lifespan anyway, came and saw Phil, and Phil talked to the board about this on several occasions, and thanks to staff who have been very cooperative and kind and thoughtful about this, those poplar trees will be coming down, and they are probably not, in terms of trees, a major loss to the community, and they will restore sunshine to the people who live in the retirement village. Yes.
Yeah, so we had our Edible Garden Awards, and I think this was the second year that we had these, and we had a lot of prizes to give out to all the recipients. And what was great about this year, we didn't get everyone coming back, because I don't know about Edible Garden Awards elsewhere, but a lot of people are very shy about putting their name forward to say that they've got a great garden, and that's, you know, I probably didn't do enough to encourage them myself this year, but we got a lot more younger people coming this time, and that was really great to see. We get a greater range of ages and cultures and things coming to this rather than the Garden Pride, which are quite a different kettle of fish. So we all had a really great time and really enjoyed it. Was there anything else?
We're going to change the name, and in the coming year we're going to change the name to Edible and Sustainable, because we already recognise sustainable, and we want to get that in the title, and we think that will extend the range of people who will be interested in coming. And interested in putting their gardens forward as well. So it's a diverse range of people and really gripping, and the people all talk to one another and it's great fun.
And we all try to wear floral dresses. or shirts.
Well done. Not you, Tim, you unadventurous beggar. You have got the legs for it. What a skite.
Cashmere Club.
That's a sight you don't get out of your mind quickly.
And here's our special project.
I'm not doing this, Spreydon.
Photo for it, but if you want to talk about it first.
It doesn't matter.
This is our special project. Young men that were boys when they first came to see us came to us to talk about putting lights in on the basketball courts in the middle of Hunhei and Rowley. And these young men came and saw us 4 or 5 years ago and have stayed with us and still come and see us now that they are men. And one of them has gone on to community development projects and so on. We also met their mothers, mamas, as they are, who started with the boys and stayed with the boys, but also now do community projects, and we're, for instance, staffing the hangi at the opening that we had, and also now have started to develop their own fitness programs for themselves.
Annual plan as well.
And they came to us in the annual plan, both their mothers and the boys and the men came and saw us in the annual plan to discuss the project. People may not know this, and I think probably you should, but basketball numbers have skyrocketed, and they are now the second largest sport to netball that young people and play, and rugby has dropped to third. And it is a sport that encompasses all ages. When you go down to the courts, the older boys and the men are looking after the young children. And the girls are not playing at the older level very much, but at the younger level, there's girls and boys playing on the courts. Unlike other areas where the lights are often objected to, in this community, the community supported the lights going in and said, A, it made them feel safer in their own houses, but B, they enjoyed looking at the people playing on the courts, in the courts, etc. Because of the energy of Emma Pavey, our staff member, we got seats, we got barbecue, we got painting on the courts, we got and they painted, originally they were going to paint them red, and Emma was in there like boots and all, wanting the exact colour. And we had a marvellous evening, hundreds of people there, just a marvellous evening. And we've got a video.
So hopefully we've got 4 minutes left.
I don't know, we don't have 4 minutes left, so...
No, don't cut the video off, Elaine. Don't cut the video off.
I might have to run it in the
Fiesta.
You turn the volume up,
Roy
Sarah.
brought them along and thought that they would be really good for set up and pack down.
Hey, my name's Matthias Bailey.
My name's Kala.
Kia ora. My name's Jolanda.
My name's Crusader Nali.
My name is Christian Siavia. My name's Antonio Miracle Nu. Oh, my name's Michael Pule.
My name is Emma Pavey. I'm Community Recreation Advisor for Christchurch City Council, and my role in this project has been the driver of the journey. The skate jams were not what they were interested in, and all of the children locally played basketball. So part of the agreement of running the basketball competition, because it was what they wanted, was they would need to do the planning and work out what that looked like.
Greg Spence, part of the Crossover Trust, focus in on the Origin Sport program. Probably my hands-on involvement mainly comes from the Hoon Hey Hoops. First one was in 2016, but the manpower largely came from half a dozen local boys.
Hello, my name is Mukupole. Today's name is Scouts.
It was such a success that it took place in 2017 as well, and then the initiative was copied at Umbi.
This group of boys were very blown away with basketball, and that's when we got onto conversations around how cool it would be to have lights on our basketball court. We encouraged them, that's Sol and I encouraged them to come along to one of the board meetings and tell them what your plans are.
My name is Solomon Joseph Smith and I'm a Community Development Advisor for the Christchurch City Council. I also hold a Pacific portfolio for Council. Probably the first key milestone was actually having all the young men come and make a deputation to the board. For many young people it's hard enough to speak to adults, and a whole board of adults speaking to them was a big thing.
My name is Roy Cadeli. I manage Crossover Trust and I'm a community liaison in the Rowley area. I think Carolyn Potter said that usually when lights go up anywhere, there's always complaints. And so one thing that I'm really proud of is our community, and instead of complaining about young people, they're actually backing their ideas.
Yeah, that's something we actually really wanted, so then it's good to see that it came up pretty good, eh?
Because look what happened to this. It became true. 4 years we wished for it, we grinded, and we finally made it. I just got 3 words, eh? We made it. We made it. We made it. Chief from the Spreydon Youth Community Trust. It's amazing to have a place like this, a hub. My house is just down the road and I can see the platform there and seeing it lit up and seeing young people have a safe place where people can come hang out.
In 2015, when I first was introduced to this group of boys, they've taken me for the past 4 years on the most...
Thank you very much. That was a really nice way to end the presentation. So,
Thank you.
Phil would like to move it.
Having
Seconded
moved,
by
a
Tim.
very brief comment, Leanne. Just that what we've seen is clearly there's a whole community development background to that, going back 30 years. So what the council the council put in 30 years ago into the Rowley Resource Centre is actually coming to fruition through this kind of thing. It's absolutely stunning, as Carolyn explained.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's